Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/Best of Redditor Updates. You didn't think we'd get through 1 week without looking at Best of Redditor Updates, did you? It's cold as hell outside. I have a Nakey in my lap, and by Nakey, by the way, for anyone who's new here, I mean one of my Sphinx cats. I don't have a random exhibitionist sat on my knee. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in getting into with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. I also have my coffee, which is great. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay then, so this one was shared to the subreddit by Direct Caterpillar 77, and the title is, Am I the Butthole for Sleeping with My Sister's Boyfriend? But it's not what it sounds like. Oh, you are gonna have to really explain, because at the moment, that sounds terrible on your part, OP. I'm intrigued to know how this could be in any way a not the butthole for the OP. But yeah, Direct Caterpillar 77 obviously is not the original poster. The original poster is u/ambitious alone 3639 and was originally posted to r/am I the butthole, obviously. So we got a trigger warning for infidelity and deception. Originally posted December 2nd, 2025. What a great time of year to be getting into sleeping with sister's boyfriend spats. Just in time to argue over the Christmas dinner. Fabulous. My sister, 26F, is dating and soon to be engaged to my 25F ex-boyfriend. Oh! Okay. Making more sense already. 26M, I know he's planning on proposing, or was, as I was helping him. When I was 16, I dated my sister's now boyfriend for about 6 months. It wasn't a super serious relationship, but we, as most teenagers do around that age, had sex. We did it a few times, but nothing obscene. The relationship ended amicably because we simply didn't want to date anymore. There were no harsh feelings, and we remained friends throughout high school and college. When my sister was around 23, she moved back to our hometown a year or so after college, and he was living here also. They began to spend time together, and she asked if it would bother me if they began to date. I had absolutely no problem with it and told her that there were absolutely no weird feelings, and I didn't even consider him a serious relationship, as it was about nearly 10 years ago. They've now been dating for the past 3 years, and he plans to propose and has even asked for my help. See, even though the OP's like, yeah, there's no hard feelings, it's such a dodgy path to walk, dating someone that your sibling has slept with. Because I have a feeling where this is going to go, and we'll see if I'm right. I have a feeling the sister's going to have some jealousy issues. So yeah, it's to be honest, I think if a sibling has touched them, leave them well alone. It's going to save you a whole lot of headache. Now, for the actual conflict. About a week ago, I, my sister, her boyfriend, and a few of our mutual friends went out to dinner. During one of the conversations, my sister made a joke about how he better propose soon because she was starting to feel like an old maid, her words. I asked her what she meant, and she said that they were both saving themselves for marriage. I asked her if she meant in just this oh no. I asked if she meant in just this relationship or if she was saving herself, period. She doesn't know, does she? She just thinks they dated. She doesn't know that her sister shagged her fiancé-to-be. She had said that they had both been saving themselves their whole life. Little lying about that. I gave her boyfriend a strange look from across the table, and she caught it. She asked why I looked at him weird, and I said it was nothing and tried to move past it. She insisted I tell her why because she thought I was judging them. I confessed that we had had sex in high school, although it didn't really mean anything. She got mad at him first for lying, understandable, yes. And somehow he managed to convince her that that never happened, and then she got mad at me for making stuff up and, direct quote, trying to sabotage our future marriage because you're not over him. Wow. I told her I was, in fact, completely over him and that I was not lying, and then they both got up and left. My friends know I'm telling the truth and have tried to contact her and back me up. She hasn't answered any of them and texted me the day after saying that I wouldn't be invited to the future wedding if I didn't admit to lying. Sister knows full well that OP is not lying. I'm just going to put it out there. Sister is in denial. She doesn't want to admit that her boyfriend has been lying his ass off to her this whole time. And I mean, I'm not being funny. If he's going to lie about being abstinent, and obviously that's something that matters to the OP's sister, is he getting his kicks somewhere else? I do feel really bad and wish I hadn't said anything or lied about why I looked at him, but I felt like I owed it to her because she's my sister and he was lying. Should I have handled it differently? Not have told her at all, etc. Am I the butthole? I would say no. Because he's a lying little turd at the end of the day, and you've just called him out on his bullcrap. As far as the OP thought the sister was well aware they'd slept together, so obviously that's why it had never come up before. And I think it is something important to know, because then the sister can decide whether or not she can handle that fact of, 1, her sister has slept with her fella, and 2, her fella's been lying out of his arse. So, no, definitely not the butthole. Just being honest. The only thing that I could say maybe could have been a bit of a butthole thing is I would have taken her off to tell her in private, not when out to dinner. But at the same time, if she's pressuring you there and then, it is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, top comments. Life Temperature 2506 says, if he was banging you at 16, there's a strong chance he's banged others from 17 to 23, right? Anyways, not the butthole. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if he has, there's nothing wrong with that. He wasn't with the sister at that point, so she can't hold that above his head in that respect, but it's the fact of lying about it. So, Miserable Fondant then said, I would be willing to bet that the issue of whether he's had sex with you specifically was brought up early on and it bothered her, so he decided to lie about it because that would have seemed easier to him than dealing with the whole issue. You are not responsible for facilitating his lies, and you are not the butthole for being honest with her. But I doubt their relationship survives. OOP updated the next day, December 3rd, 2025, on the same post. So, update. Okay, so I'm first going to start off with some context to clear up some confusion I was seeing. My sister and I grew up kind of religious with pretty old-fashioned parents. I didn't really buy into any of the religion stuff, but my sister did. Not quite as much as my parents, but definitely more than me. They told us to wait till marriage, but I clearly did not listen to them, and I guess it never occurred to me that my sister probably did. The reason she never knew about us sleeping together is because I didn't tell her, because I thought she might tell my parents, and I didn't want to deal with them. And I mean, again, you probably assumed that she thought that you had, considering you were teenagers you were dating. You probably think she assumed that anyway. The reason I didn't know that she was waiting is because she's always been one to keep that kind of thing to herself, and is very set on having her own privacy. Yeah, I mean, I know there's some people that would like to shout from the rooftops like, hey, look at us, we're gonna not shag until we've been married, aren't we better than you? But yeah, most people just keep it to themselves. It's a private thing. When I say that we weren't in a serious relationship in high school, it's because I'm a firm believer that no high school relationship is that serious. Yes. We also both knew that we weren't planning on staying together forever. I only slept together 2, maybe 3 times, which in my mind isn't very serious, even for teenagers. Yeah, I know there's some people that get together when they're teenagers and stay together forever and a day, but they are the outliers. Most teenage relationships aren't that serious. When my sister asked me if I could be okay with them dating, she specifically asked if I would find it weird or uncomfortable. And I told her as long as she wasn't bothered by the fact that we used to be a couple, I had no reservations. She said that she didn't mind at all, which I mistakenly took as she knew we slept together and didn't care. Yes, exactly. That's what I would think. I would think that she knew, like she would have already, put 2 and 2 together and understood. I'd always known him to be pretty truthful and never took it to mean that he actually completely lied to her. At dinner, the three of us were sitting at one end of the table and having the argument very quietly, so my friends didn't know what was happening until they got up and left. Otherwise, they would have defended me there. After I confessed that we slept together, he said something along the lines of, "That never happened, and I don't know why she would lie." I insisted I wasn't lying, but I also wasn't trying to be hurtful. He said some BS about how maybe their talk of marriage made me jealous and stirred up old feelings. That's when she turned on me, and they left. He is such a manipulative little shit. Oh my god! Now, to the update. My sister came over this morning and we had a conversation and made amends. She told me that he had proposed a few days ago, but she hadn't told anyone because what I said was still weighing on her. She said that last night she went through his phone and found out that he has been cheating on her. What a little bastard. Repeatedly for the most of the relationship, and that he slept with people before they were together. She confronted him this morning and they had a huge argument where he said that the reason he had lied is because he knew it was important to her that they were both virgins, and she wouldn't have stayed with him if she found out that he wasn't one, and he really does love her and want to marry her. Yeah, he says that while he's tripping and falling in all in sundry. All right then, pal. Yeah, pull the other one, it's got bells on, love. She thankfully did not believe him and ended it. Well, I am glad, because I had this horrible feeling the sister was just going to believe all of his lies and just run along with him into the sunset and then be stuck with that turd. She came straight over to apologise and hear my side of the story. I asked her why she blindly believed him and left the restaurant and wouldn't answer me, and she said that she was embarrassed because waiting till marriage has always been a big deal to her, and she didn't want to believe that he wasn't as committed to her as she was to him. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I think it was her trying to save face, wanting to be like, no, I don't want to believe that, like, because that just blows up everything I've had in my head for us, kind of thing. I, of course, accepted her apology and we both decided to move past it and always trust each other. She has also decided that she's going to take some time to reconsider what values are most important to her. I hope that doesn't mean that she's going to have to reconsider whether she thinks being virgins in a relationship until marriage is something she should drop, because if that is important to her, now, by the way, this is something I do not subscribe to and I don't believe in. At all. Obviously, I've got 2 kids and I've never been married. But if it's important to her and that's her moral value and that's something that she, for herself, is very passionate about, pardon the pun, then I don't think she should change that just because she's worried that future relationships are going to do the same as this little human excrement, because I'll bet that's what she's thinking. She's thinking if she doesn't put out, no one's going to want to stay with her and they're all going to cheat or they're all going to lie to her, which is sad, really sad, because there are guys out there with the exact same values. All is now well. Our ex is totally the arsehole, yes. And please don't say anything rude about my sister. I love her a ton and she just had a weak moment. Yeah, I think that sounds like the sister was basically in a panic mode. She's been confronted with this info and she doesn't want to believe it because basically that makes all of her future plans just implode right in front of her, you know what I mean? So I get it, I do get it, and I'm glad she came round, and I'm so glad she did not get completely manipulated by that little butthole. So down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, Pelt CSC says a genuinely decent conclusion with the sister realising OOP isn't the problem. Yeah, honestly, this is rare. So rare on Reddit. And then Chizmaster says, it seems like they're both mature adults. The ex, on the other hand, yes, well. Okay, so I think we've got time for another story, I would say. I just realised my mic was turned up a little bit for that last story. So if there is a bit of a volume difference between the two, I do apologise. I've turned it down now and I'll try and turn it down when I'm editing for the first half, but there may be a discrepancy there, which might be a little bit annoying. Apologies. So this one was also posted by Direct Caterpillar 77, and the title for this one is By Sheer Coincidence, I, 25F, just started a new job and happened to work with someone, 25M, who I had an awful one-night stand with 8 months ago. He's telling everyone I'm crazy and I'm not fitting in at all. So, Direct Caterpillar again, not the original poster. Original poster is U/X fling spreading rumo. Okay? That was hard to read. When there's no spaces or like hyphens or something to split it up, it's so hard to read for my little pea brain. Trigger warnings, a hostile work environment. So originally posted March 4th, 2016. I was in a bad place this summer. I had just lost my job, was lonely, was depressed, decided that I needed to put myself out there more. I joined Tinder. Famous last words. Went out with a guy named Eric. We went to a beer festival together. The date was fun, but we, especially I, got way too drunk. We ended up going back to his place and having sex. It was definitely me who initiated. Long story short, after we had sex, I burst into drunken tears. Oh no! OP! To this day, I'm still not sure what caused it exactly. He didn't do or say anything. I was just hammered and very sad inside, and it all came out on this poor guy. No, bless you. He was really uncomfortable, he didn't know what to do, and asked if I wanted to go home or stay. I mumbled that I would stay. The next morning I woke up, embarrassed and very hungover, to an empty bed. I get up, go to the living room, and he is there watching TV. He gives me a ride home. I feel bad about what happened because I know that I genuinely enjoyed my date with him until the crying part. It reminds me, I'm going to tell you a story now, and this is a judgment-free zone, okay, everybody? This is a judgment-free zone! I had a fling, a one-night fling, with somebody I knew, by the way, and this is, God, years ago. And it was terrible. Not because of me, actually. Thank you very much. Basically, this dude was like, you know, kissing and whatever. All of a sudden, just went, I love you. And I was like, excuse me, the what? And then he goes, oh, I didn't mean it. I was thinking of someone else. And I was like, what? I was just like, yeah, okay, we're done here. So when he went to the toilet, I quickly texted my friend and I was like, mate, get this dude out. He's freaking me out. Honestly, terrible, terrible. And then now and then I'll see him and it's like water under the bridge now. And like now I'll laugh even and take the piss about it. But oh, it was the worst. Never again. I send him a casual text a couple days later to see if there is still a chance, and he doesn't respond. I send him one more text apologising for what happened and that it wasn't his fault. I was just really drunk. He doesn't respond, I get the hint and move on with my life. Fast forward to now, I'm in a new and great relationship with somebody, Jake from Tinder! Honestly, if it was me, I would have been put off Tinder for life after that, after the first one. I've gotten a good hold on my depression and in general am doing very well. I even got a new job, except I started this job 2 weeks ago and guess who I'm working with? Eric, my one-night stand. It is obvious to everyone on my first day that Eric and I know each other. When people ask me, I just brushed it aside and said that I met him out randomly this summer. Well, Eric has told everyone we work with what happened between us. I'm incredibly embarrassed and I feel alienated at my new job. Eric, that is an asshole move, mate. You could have kept that to yourself at work. Come on now. People think I'm some crazy, promiscuous, drunk girl. I have made one friend. She's the one who told me about Eric's story. I don't know what to do, because Eric is not spreading a lie. He's telling everyone the truth about what happened between us. The truth is just dark and embarrassing for me. Once, my current boyfriend Jake came to pick me up from work and I heard Eric and a co-worker snickering. I'm so humiliated. I feel like I'm in high school. What can I do to make this go away? HR! Hello, HR! Or the boss, I don't know. Or maybe just be like, yeah, well, actually, you were pretty crap in bed and that's why I cried. Maybe don't do that last one, but I mean, maybe me and being sassy and stubborn and petty. Yeah. So we got some top comments. Morio? It's the truth and it's already out there, so own it. I assume Jake knows the situation. If not, please tell him right away and be open about it. There's nothing you can do to change the past. Either the drunk post crying or Eric telling everyone. So my best advice is to focus on work and act as if it's no big deal. No one is going to come to you and make fun of you for it, and even if they did, they would be way more cringeworthy than what you did. I know it's way easier said than done, but if anyone brings it up, try to laugh it off, or if you can, oh well, I get really emotional about microbrews. I am going to assume they mean the willy worm. I've never heard the word microbrew before, to be honest. This will blow over. And then Just Talk About Relat says, what is crazy to me, OP, is that how is it in Eric's best interest at all for this to go around? Like, if I made a girl cry after sex, I sure as hell wouldn't be telling people, especially co-workers. For shame. Exactly. And then update March 19th, 2016, 2 weeks even later. Thanks to everyone who responded to my original post. Most of you told me to keep my head high, own what happened, and focus on work, and that's exactly what I did. To those of you reminding me to tell my boyfriend, I actually already had, and he was supportive and sympathetic to my situation. Anyway, you guys were right. I just had to wait for things to blow over. It's been about 2 weeks since I posted and 1 month since I started my new job. I made a really diligent effort to be really helpful, friendly, and hardworking, and it worked. I'm getting along with all my co-workers now, including Eric. I no longer feel paranoid that people are whispering about me being crazy or anything. In fact, what inspired me to write this post was that Eric and I had been assigned to tackle a project together. Yesterday, we both had to stay late to wrap up a presentation we had been working on for a while, which was the first time we had ever actually been alone. Well, besides for the time we had sex. Yes, I assumed that. I was nervous about it, but determined to just focus on work and get through it. But we had a little downtime while we were uploading our presentation video to the server and we started chatting, at which point I made a self-deprecating joke. If this thing crashes, I might just burst into tears again. He laughed at that and we ended up clearing the air. He first started apologising if he or anyone at work had made me uncomfortable. Yeah, you better apologise, you dick. And then he described our Tinder incident last summer, but from his perspective, oh goody, I would love to hear about this from his perspective. Basically, he had actually just downloaded Tinder that week over the summer when we started talking. I was the first person that he had ever talked to or gone on a date with through the app. His work friends were actually the ones who encouraged him to download it, so they knew about me and our planned date almost from the beginning. They were actually the ones who suggested the beer festival. So, we have our date and it goes horribly, and of course on Monday everyone is asking him how it goes. And he basically explains to them what happened, and they all laugh off the situation and how awful that must have been, and how it sucks that that was his first date, and maybe Tinder just wasn't for him, blah blah blah. So, when I first started working there, they all already knew who I was. Ah, okay, from way back summer, which is actually kind of a relief because it means that Eric didn't immediately see me and spill the beans to everyone like some jerk. Okay, so that makes more sense because yeah, I thought Eric was going around like gossiping like, oh, you never guess what. Like, shut up, Eric, you bitch. Eric and I then cleared the air and said that from getting to know me over the last month, I seem very cool and professional, and he hopes that there is no ill will between us. I said definitely not. I don't blame him for what happened, and I explained very briefly about how I was just in a bad place when I met him that summer from losing my job, and just drank too much. He said not to worry about it, and he totally understands. I'm just glad that we are able to address the elephant in the room. Also, about the one friend I made previously who told me what Eric was saying, she actually is relatively new to the office also and wasn't around last summer when the Tinder thing happened. So from her perspective, it looked like Eric was spreading a fresh rumour when in actuality, people were discussing stuff they had already known. So yeah, things are good. TLDR, everything blew over on its own. I just focused on myself and getting work done. Eric and I ended up clearing the air, and he said that our co-workers were actually the ones who made him get Tinder, so they knew about me from the very beginning. No malicious rumours were intentionally spread, and everybody is on good terms now. So some final comments. From a downvoted commenter. How could everyone know who you are from Tinder? 8 months later, they remember your picture that somebody showed them. I believe Eric is just covering his ass. Sounds like a douche. And then OOP says, maybe I should clarify. It's not like I walked in on my first day and everyone instantly knew who I was. I mentioned in my original post from day one, it was actually just really obvious that Eric and I knew each other. So naturally, people ask questions and Eric says she's the Tinder girl and everyone instantly knew what that meant. Yeah, that makes sense because I can understand what the commenter is saying there, because yeah, you would think, hold on, but Eric would still have had to tell them who you are because they're not going to recognize you, surely. But also, you never know. Some people might have remembered her face and would recognize if he'd shown the Tinder profile. But no, that makes a lot of sense if it was very clear that they knew each other and then they're like, oh, well, how do you know each other? And then, yeah, you see how it spirals from there. So, down in the comments, coming in the Nile, I hope you don't. I've read a comment from them before, I'm pretty certain. What happens when people actually communicate with each other like adults? And damn, do I miss old Tinder. Old Tinder? You mean it used to be better? Because Tinder's been a cesspool for many years now. I haven't used any dating sites in like 5, maybe even 6 years now. And even when I last used them, they were a friggin' cesspool. Stop Thinking It's Me then says, throughout the post I was like, Tinder? People who can communicate and have jobs are on Tinder? Then I realised it's from 2016. But my goodness, 2 for 2 on the stories of people actually communicating and sorting out their issues and arguments like adults. Where are we? This isn't the Reddit I know. Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that'll be your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Oh, and have a good weekend, because I don't post on weekends. So yeah, I will see you on Monday, by the way. Goodbye!